Welcome everybody to this series of Glocalisers webinars. This time we have Monica Picavêa with us, and she will be presenting a very interesting topic from sustainability to social impact and regeneration. This is one of the series of webinars that Gaia Education is offering free to the public, and we hope that you join us in other webinars as well. We also like to tell you about the other products that Gaia Education has, books that accompany our curriculum, youth activities, teacher's guides, the 4 keys in several languages. You can find these books in our online shop at the address that you see there at the bottom in books online. You can also find products like the SDG flashcards that we use to train for SDG multipliers, also in our shop online. And you can also become a certified trainer with Gaia Education, same as Monica and many others who are joining us now for this much demanded for trainers around the world in EDE programs in eco-villages and other education centers. To do that, there is a simple process. You can see online the 3 steps that we ask you to take. Taking a TOT, training of trainers, taking a live EDE, which is an immersion program, and then taking one of the online courses to deepen your learning in your specialty. That would bring you to qualify for a certified trainer with Gaia Education. After an interview, we can add you to the roster of trainers on our list. I'd like to tell you also that our next webinar, excuse me for that. I wanted to tell you about other programs that we have online, which is the Design for Sustainability in English, Portuguese, and in Spanish. You can find those online as well. We are currently running the Economic Dimension in English and also the Worldview Dimension in Portuguese. And we also have our social media channels, any of these, so you can follow the news and events that are happening around the world with Gaia Education. Monica will present today her topic from sustainability to social impact and regeneration. Monica has been leading social impact programs in Brazil since her teens, and she graduated in journalism before becoming an MBA in the United States. She has been on the faculty of Gaia Education since 2009 and facilitated the first Gaia in Transition in Vila Brasilândia, the largest low-income community in South America. In 2016, her company, Oficina para Sustentabilidade, was elected by Be the Change as one of the best social enterprises in the world. Congratulations, Monica. What a wonderful achievement. And she was nominated as a Rockefeller Fellow among 21 global entrepreneurs. She's currently investigating how to measure social impact in societies by adopting systems thinking in a series of international collaborations. Wonderful. Welcome, Monica. And
thank you.
We can now get started with your webinar. Thank you.
Okay. Well, everybody, I'm here really very, very happy to be with you and share a little bit of my experience, specifically with business, because I really think and believe that it's very important to change the way we see business, and business has to change as a different way of doing things. And one of the things I really want to talk to you is that we can't grow crazily, as you know, because we don't have all these resources in the world, and so we can't keep on growing this way. And we have an economic paradigm that think that we can grow crazily, and it's not true. So one amazing thing is the Earth Overshoot Day, that on 2017, it was in August 2. So almost in the middle of the year, we spend all the resources we have for the whole year. And that's make me think a lot about what to do to change the way we consume things and the way we are doing and living in this world. So I love this word lifestyle where order is out of stock. We don't have it anymore. So we have to do something right. This graphic is something that I like very much because it shows that we are in an exponential change for bad and for good. Especially for bad, because we start spending and using our resources in a level, and then in a moment we start growing exponentially, and this is very, very a big problem for us, and we have to work hard to change it. And the thing is, stop growing that fast, specifically our consumption, and stop and make some other exponential changes in things we do, so we can maybe make it better and stop this this bad behavior that we are having and becoming a bad thing to our world, right? And thinking about business, that I really believe that economics thinks that they are the big part of the cake. So, but under this cake, there are the social part, and under the social part, taking care of everything, we have our environment. So we have to think that economics is just a little part of what we do, but it is making a very, very big damage in our society. So how can we do that? So I love to think about this, the power of collective. And I love this image because it shows that it doesn't matter now, it doesn't matter anymore to be big. But if you have many people working, and with the social medias and all the change we have, we can do many things together. So I really like to believe in it. We're thinking about the evolution of economics. That's very interesting because we start in the hunter economics, agricultural revolution, and then we change to agricultural economics. So then we have the industrial revolution and we have the industrial economies. And then now we started the electronic information economies. We are in the electronic revolution, and it's a big change, a real exponential change that we are living on this moment. That's a very exciting moment to be alive, really, because we have to rethink all the things we are doing. And one thing that's very important to think about is how to change this paradigm. We started in the scarcity paradigm. So what's the scarcity paradigm? So we have to increase consumption all the time, and this is the base of our economy. So what does the scarcity paradigm involve? Exclude people, so some will have, some will not. Do not have for everyone, so I have to stock. When I stock, of course, it's not going to be enough for everybody, right? We fear it will fall short, so we compete to stock. So that's hard because many resources that we don't use are not shared with others because we are afraid of being without it, right? We withdraw. Yes?
Excuse me a second, Monica. It seems like people are not able to see the slides. So let's pause just a second. Let me reload the slides. I see them, but let me reload them and see if that fixes us for others. So let's pause for just a second.
Okay. Well, people, even not seeing the slides, we can see that we are living in this paradigm. That's the scarcity one. We always think that's not going to have for tomorrow, so we keep on hanging and we keep on stocking and doing this kind of thing. And how more we have, better, because our system is held on this paradigm. That's to consume more and more and more and grow exponentially in a world that has finite resources. So that's a big question. What we think is that we have to make and to change to another paradigm. That's the I used to say that's the abundance paradigm, but sometimes I believe that's enough paradigm. You know, because you don't have to have much, a lot, to be happy. Many cultures see and explain, and many universities are studying and now showing this results of this studying, that you don't need too much to be happy. And so what is enough for me? And we don't used to think about that, because normally we think that we have to buy more and more, and the new one, the first cellular phone, the first, but we don't think about it. If we need it, if it's important for me, it's make really difference in my life. And most of it don't do that. And we don't know even what we like, because we are always trying to buy something else and looking for something else, because we don't even valorize, and we don't even look toward things and think, wow, that's great what I have. So this other paradigm is, I'm not what I have, but I am what I am. And this is the first question: who I am, who am I, what I am, what am I? Okay. And the thing is, we have to. Nature has a finite resource. So how much I really need for that? And I really have to have something, or I have to use that. And this is the thought of collaboration. And that's a very interesting thought to have. Okay? Okay.
I think we're good
Here we
now.
have.
You could, yeah, good.
Yes? Okay. So the old economy, that's what we call the old paradigm that we were talking about. We are talking about based in disconnection and competition, based in ownership. You have to have it. So you have one house with two people that has 5 cars, 3 cars. That doesn't make sense if you think about it. So hierarchy, that you have to have things to feel better in society, or to show somebody that you are better or not. Division of labor, right? You work for somebody. Buy more and more and more big companies. This is the old economy, how it shows itself. And we are here to talk about another paradigm, that's the re-economy. What's the re-economy? The importance of the important is not the ownership, but access. If you can access the resource, that's perfect. You don't have to have it. And it costs much less, and you need much less things, and it's totally much better. And networks, not hierarchy. Distribution of labor, that's not division of labor. We distribute labor and work. Optimize resources, sharing, and buy only the necessary. Local economy, not only big companies that are based on the theory of shareholders. We need to think about all the stakeholders. So somebody is there gaining, but not working. And I don't know, on this new economy, it's not a fair thing. And based in confidence and collaboration. And that's a very interesting thing, because we used to think about competition and disconnection. And now we are basing in confidence and collaboration. So it's a big change for us and for the world, but it's a necessary one. Okay? So let's think about regenerate the planet. And I will talk a little bit about what does it means in business. So re-economy, it's how we call the economy in the new and in transition towns. That's the movement that Hopkins created in England, and now is all around the world. And we are think about how business can be helping the world to regenerate. And this is our big thought and my question, okay? So what's our economy? We think about that to be a economy project or a economy business. You have to have, look there, be local, low carbon, and good for the planet. So we don't have to mitigate the things we cause. We have to regenerate and make the world better than when we got in. And our entrepreneur and our company has to be good for the world. And this is what I call our economy, right? So low carbon, less consume based in what is enough. About less consume, you say, well, how can I be a profitable company saying that less consume? Well, consume enough. People have to eat. People have to do things. People use things. We consume in a way. But the thing is not to consume. The thing is the way we do that. The thing is consume more than you need. The thing is consume exacerbantly. So this is the question. Low ecological footprint. What's that? Use less energy and help to regenerate the planet, and help to, your product has to help people, not to make them consume more, or not to create more waste, or not to look for a good impact in society. This is what we think about, okay? And specifically looking for the social equity. That's what? That's make people have a better way of life, have a better quality of life, and instead of live with less than $1 a day. Well, some of the interesting projects and companies that are growing is this called Tem Açúcar. It's from Brazil, and it's an app that where you put your name on it, and it shows everybody that's near you and what do you have as resources to share. So you go there inside this app and say that you need a, I don't know, a bag, or you need a painter, and they show, oh, okay, I have one, I can borrow you. And then they go there and they exchange these resources, and you don't have to be the owner of it. That's what we were talking about. How can we make an economy where we can share resources? And this is a great app, and it's a very I used to say that it's disruptive thing. That's not, don't tell you to consume, but tell you that you have a very evident world, and having this network, you have lots of things to share and resources that are available for you, and it's amazing. Another thing is this girl that's from Brazil too. Her name is Lohana Scarpioni, and she was law student, and she used all the money that she has on her safe, and made this app too that's called Leafleaf. Leafleaf is like a bank of hours or a bank of time, where you can share what you like, what you have. Like I used to teach Portuguese, and there is somebody that can cook some food, so I exchange some hours of me teaching Portuguese, and this person come and cook to me. And this is an amazing way, because you go there and then you put inside it things that you can teach and things that you want, and then people go there and match this this hours and this time, and so it's a time bank, like, and it's really disruptive and interesting. This is a group that use waste to make bags. Like they use banners that advertising, and people use on event and then throw it away, and they take it and make bags and other handmade things, and it's amazing because it takes the waste from the environment. This is, we call roupa livre, that's free cloth. That's a movement that proposes less consumption, look into the cloth with a more lovely thought. And that's very interesting because the first time I went to Finhorn, that was a place where Gaia Education started. That's an eco village, and everything has a name, like objects have a name, because when you put a name something, you give them a different thought and a different feel, and then you take more care of it, for sure. And everybody remember the first car that you have that has a name or something like that, or the first little toy that you have that has a name, and you call him and it has remembering. And this is something that when you are consuming for only for without thinking, you don't have it, because everything you can throw away, and it's possible. And but when you think about, you really can see that it's enough, and that you can have it and be good with that and take care of it. And that's what they purpose for clothes, that you can share it, and you go to a place and then you exchange it with some other people, and you have this this kind of relationship. And I really believe that the new economy is connected to another relationship with things that we have. And that's interesting because they are girls that they used to make clothes and take clothes and change clothes and put there to share and to exchange, and people exchange on other things and use and try, and you make it more beautiful, and you really do things. That's something that's very interesting, because we lost our ability to do things. We don't know how to sew anymore, we don't know how to cook anymore, and because it's easy to buy. And get it back is something that we need to do, because we have to learn. And when you do something, when you saw your clothes, what happened? You can you value them much more, because it makes a lot of sense and more sense for you, and you have a connection and a relationship with that. You did it, right? So you don't want to throw it away or leave it or stop using. You will look at that and say, wow, I'm going to really use it, and I love this clothes, I did it, right? Well, talking a little bit about Oficina da Sustentabilidade, that was what Gio told us, that we got a prize that was recognized as one of the best for the world. It's a very interesting thing, because Oficina was born to help companies, not only business as usual, but business as usual too, to think in another way, how you can think in another way and rethink the way you are, even products and something like that. So this is our business model. We used to say that we are a 2.5 company. What's a 2.5? Well, it's not an NGO, and it's not only a company, because we really look to the social impact and good social impact. So this is something that we really believe, and that's why we call it 2.5, because we have the first sector, the first sector, the second sector, and the third sector. So we are not the second sector, because we are not only a company. We need social impact, and we are not an NGO, because we are a company. So, and this is something that here in Brazil is not there is no legislation for that, so we don't have anything, any prize to be that, or um, any good thing because we are this way. We are a company as any other. In the law, we have to pay all we pay everything to the government and everything. Well, but it's a way of paying. So we do it not because but because we believe. We have 4 own methodologies for social intervention, inspired in Gaia Education. That's where I came from, and I love and honor it very much. We are inspired by, we have these 4 methodologies that are inspired by in Gaia Education and Transition Network. And it helps to help the community. So the first one is the Changemaker Program. That's a curriculum to prepare community and companies to make social interventions. How you can look to the world and look to the environment that you are and make an intervention that's good for everybody, and in a collaborative way, working together. And how can we think about what we do and what we want to do and go there and make it. And don't think that companies are better than communities because they are part of it. So this is one thing that we used to do with some companies. We call 3WS, System of Structured Governance for Systemic Integration of Companies in a Economy Program. What is that? When you connect your company or the company to community based, and how you can work with family agriculture, or how you can work with small business that are local. How big companies can do that, because for them it's hard to connect to this, and so we help them how to do that, and we help the small ones to get more connection to have a better way of life on this crazy world that we're living. Gaia for Transition is one of the best things I did in my life, really. That's a Gaia curriculum that was done in one of the biggest slum, I don't know if you know that, here we call favelas, in South America and Sao Paulo. And was amazing because we have now 18 people that are community-based leaderships that are formed on our curriculum of Gaia Education. And Brasilândia is the first low-income community in transition of the world. It was the first one, and they are amazing, and they are doing a great job. Now they it has something like 7 years that they are working on this sustainability way of life there in this community. And Transition Brasilândia, that I was talking to you, that's the first program of transition in a low-income community in the world, and that's amazing because they did so many things. In this photograph, I don't know if you can see it very well, but there is a building that we did in Gaia Education that's like a geodesical, built with land. That's a classroom where they can learn more about sustainability inside this school, inside the school. And then we left this build to them there, and they are using till now. And then we prepare professors and teachers that were on this school to use it, and how they can teach. And then we made some exercise and some workshops that they can do inside this place and using this resource. Well, transition in the world is amazing, and we used to work hard on it here in Brazil. And this is something, some of the groups that are inside Transition Brasilândia. There are many work groups, and we can see that, and all of these groups are volunteering, and then it's amazing the change they are doing on this community. So the most important thing that we think about is the collective creation, and we really believe that living together and working together and doing things together, we can influence the field. So when people change, all around change. So the only thing we can change is ourselves. So maybe if we can do it, things are going to change. And work with purpose. That's something that we really help business as usual to change, because it's very, very important to have people working with us that believe in what we do. And it make people keep on, it make people healthier, it make people happier, and you can find purpose in your work. And this is something very interesting, but not in the old paradigm. You have to really to think about in new things to do. And just to close our presentation here, I just want to say that the biggest challenges for business as usual is understand that the way they produce is not an option anymore. I think it's the hardest one, because it's about what they do, specifically the core business. So there are some things that doesn't make any sense anymore, so they have to change, and they have to find another way to do it. And it means research, it means hard work. Look to the whole chain and try to find products that can help the planet and not mitigate damage of production. That's why I say that we talk about regeneration and social impact, and not only sustainability. Because if we are talking about don't damage the next generation resources, we had already. We did it. So sustainability is not enough. We don't have to keep on doing what we are doing. We have to change, and we have to regenerate things that we have, that we did bad. So we have to work for that. Okay, understand that the world changed, and confidence is a big issue. And it's really a big change, because when you compete to somebody, you want to have the best, get the best for you in the relationship. And it's not that anymore. We have to have a better way to exchange things. We have to have a connection and create something good for yourself and for people around you and for people that relate to you. So this is a big challenge for business. And understand that people connect very fast. And this is something very interesting that bring us back to that slide, what I show the fishes, the big one and the little many small ones that work together here, and believe that people connect very fast in this internet moment. And it's really something that companies has to take care of and to think about it. So more and more information. Things are not more under the carpet. We really are showing more and more how things are done, how companies work, and this is very, very important and interesting, specifically for business as usual that couldn't act anymore in a way without not only social responsibility but good social impact, because people is waiting for that. It's not a choice anymore. The society is looking for that. So if they don't act in a more correct way, in a more ethic way, people's not going to buy. And we have many other options. So I really believe that's really important. And be a partner in society problem solutions, not the creator of problems. And this is very interesting, because many times people look and say, oh, poverty is not a problem for me. It's not my problem. Yes, it is. It is, because we are a society, everything is connected. And yes, poverty is a big problem for everybody. And food is a big question for everybody. And companies has to take care of it too. And there then come some companies that are changing the way they do business, and they were not new things like Tem Açúcar or like this other disruptive business, but they are looking for a new way to do same thing. And I love this Alter Eco chocolate because I love chocolate, sure, and most of people in the world love chocolate. And but they do the chocolate working with farmers and helping the family farmers to produce a better cocoa and make fair trade, and they are reforestating the places where they are. They are working with farmers to have a better way of life, make empowerment of women in communities, helping them to have a better production and paying a better price for this. That help these people and these farmers to have a better condition, and it makes the chocolate much better, because when I eat it, I really think that I'm doing something good, and something good is happening, and it's energy. I really believe that this energy of good of goodness come to this chocolate, and they are growing very fast and in a very good way, helping more and more people. How more they sell, more people get happier, and that's a great thing to think about it. And it's an old industry. Danone is trying to, when we talk about, they are the biggest company that has a BCorp certification in the world, and the BCorp certification is really a certification that brings you, you have to answer lots of information about governance, about the way you do business, about your social impact. You have to have connections and have to take care of environment and many other things. And it's very hard to get this certification. And for the first time in the world, a big company as Danone got it. And that's very interesting, because it makes them look to the whole chain and think more and more about what they are doing and how they are doing and why they are doing. And that's a very interesting thing, because many times the question is not how we are doing, but why we do that, and make this because of something more for a bigger impact, and look to the impact first and then come to the production. I think it's a new way of thinking, and it's a very hard certification to a big company because of the size of them, the complexity of the processes and everything. So we can see that the world is changing when the big ones are looking to another way of doing things, and that's very interesting. And this is another company that I like very much. That's disruptive. This is a disruptive, but think about it, produce like a kind of cement to build things, a building material that we used to say that you can build banks, benches, and this kind of houses and blocks to build houses and kind of thing. And this company use like mimetize the nature, and instead of using like clicking, that's what cement used to be hard, they use carbonate of calcium. And how do they use that? Carbonate of calcium is what the coral used to be hard, and the shells are done. And it's very interesting because it captures the CO2 from the atmosphere and then make it hard and become calcium carbonate that is mixed with another things and become this building material. And then you think about, wow, but it's a conversion plant. Yes, you convert CO2 to this kind of cement, and it takes the CO2 and the pollution of the atmosphere and make it become a building material. And that's very interesting because you say, wow, but they are profitable. Well, just producing this building material, they are not profitable. But what we see is that they are installed in California, Los Angeles, and they get some of the financing about the CO2 market. That's something that's growing, and more people will have to capture this CO2 to change the way we are making the heat of Earth. And that's very interesting because they get much profitability because they capture the CO2 than because of the product they sell. And that's a very interesting thing because it's disruptive, and it's a very good example of what a company can do to change the way they do things, but producing something in a very, very different way. This is a good example, and this is my closing example. And these are some of the information I would love to that I'd like to share with you. Thank you very much for being here with me. And I think now we go to questions, right? And
Yes, thank you, Monica. Thank you for that wonderful presentation and this very important subject that is dealt with in some of our courses, particularly in the economic dimension of our curriculum. This issue of how entrepreneurs and corporations of all sizes can be more socially and environmentally responsible. A big issue going forward if we believe that companies can help transform the world that we live in into a more sustainable world. So now we have the opportunity to pose some questions. Those of you who may have questions, you cannot use your microphone, but you can use the chat. Some people are already using the chat, and I would like to read a couple of questions, Monica, and perhaps you can then answer a few of them. I may not be able to get to all of them, but at least a few.
okay.
We have a question from Marilia, and she says that she works in a company that makes products from epoxy resins to many markets. And she really wants to change the way they produce or maybe change the raw materials. Do you know where she can look for alternatives?
Well, there are many places that where she can look for alternatives. There are lots of research about the epox and plastic and all this market. And I don't know. I have some. If she wanna talk a little bit, we can talk about it, because there are something changing. And one thing that I tell you is that you have to look to the whole chain, and the systemic thought. It's very important when you are working in a company like yours or like anyone. That's not only the raw material, the product, but the whole chain of thing. How can we do that? And it passed by, yes, that's what you were saying. How we can change the raw material and its research and development, but it passed by how we can do it, or how can we make the same thing with another maybe another product, and then you can produce it too. This is something that people is thinking very much, that what's the next product, and not the epoxy product anymore. What's the next product? What's going to help? Like this kind of cement. what's the next product that will be exchanged, then will be another market. I think that's something that you can maybe, I don't know, think about it, and that's very. But if you wanna, we can talk about it a little bit more. I would love that.
Great. I would like to remind the participants that you can post questions in the chat, and I would suggest that you post it to all participants so everybody can see your questions. Right now, people are posting just to presenters. But there is another question here from Renata, and she says, do you know examples in the agribusiness commodities that have already started initiatives for regeneration?
Well, there are some companies that are helping the farmers. I don't know any agribusiness here in Brazil specifically. I don't know any agribusiness that's trying to regenerate, but what I see is companies, different companies, big companies, looking for family farmers and helping them to be small productions and connect them all to have a bigger production, and don't have a very big agribusiness just dominating the field, but have many small farmers helping them to produce what they do. When we talk about raw materials and we talk about what our chain, it's a very, very transformative thing, because when you take out from a big agribusiness the production and bring to many small farmers, you make a very fair way of share the cake, the big cake. And so I really believe that that's a good way to do that. But I don't know any big agribusiness that is doing there, not in Brazil. I don't know it.
Good, thank you, Monica. Diego has also a question, and he says, what is the biggest difficulty that you think we will have to sell this kind of product, or what kind of pressure the biggest players could do?
Well, being the pioneers is not really very easy. I think all of us, right, Gio, has this aspect, because people think we are crazy. People think then it takes a time to people understand what we are talking about, and it takes a little bit too to people see what we are saying, and that's one of the biggest, for me, that's one of the biggest challenge. That is, we can't stop, even having many difficulties, to keep alive in this world. And that's very, because we are already in an economical system that's still working, and we are living, and we eat, and we do all the things, and so we have to find alternatives to be alive with all these crazy thoughts, and trying to help these crazy thoughts to get, and they are happening, and they're going to happen. And now it's easier. I'll tell you, Diego, that it's easier now than it was like 15 years ago when I started. And I believe that much more than when Gio started and when people from Gaia Education curriculum started. I think now people look at us and say, wow, they are visionaries and not they are crazy anymore. So that's a very interesting view. And it's interesting because now we are science. And that's very interesting to think about it. And I believe that this is the first thing. It's to be alive with these ideas in this moment, and try to help the big ones to change. We have one advantage that I tell you that we have. We are small, so we have faster, and they don't have all this time to change. So the thing is, how can we be alive on this moment, and when things change, we are ready and we go, and we don't know if they are going, so they are going to make pressure on us because we are the next we are the next step. And of course they do, but the thing is, we have to be together and collaborate with other companies that are in the same paradigm, because this is the way we can keep on being alive and show to the community and to the consumers that that's important to change, and these people will come, and then we can start to balance things. I don't know if I answered the question, but
Well, that is so true. There are more and more companies and entrepreneurs considering in their business plan how they can be more socially responsible, more environmentally responsible. Some of them do it because it's better for business. People like to shop and to consume products that are good for the environment and for society. And some of them are doing them because it simply makes sense. It's the best way to go. They are discovering new products and new processes that make that a lot easier to do. So it's the trend, and I hope that anybody that goes into business follows that kind of trend.
yes.
Well, Monica, I don't see any other questions at the moment, and I think we are, in fact, at about the end of our time anyway. I don't know if you have anything else you want to offer our participants.
I just want to thank you, everybody, for being here and share this information. And I'm really happy for being on this webinar. I hope this information uh, be useful for you. And thank you very much, Gio, for all your help to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Wonderful presentation. Really enjoyed it. I want to remind everybody that this presentation has been recorded and will be posted on our website. And in fact, all the webinars in this Glocalizer series are posted. If you would like to see some of them, please do. I invite you to join us. Just a last reminder that Gaia Education keeps producing new materials all the time to help us understand better how to train, how to teach for sustainability. We have manuals and guidebooks online that you can download. Some of them are free, some of them are for purchase. We also have articles and collection of writings. We have the SDG cards that we use for training multipliers of the Sustainable Development Goals that the UN has put out and 196 nations have agreed to. We also, oops, sorry, that wasn't what I wanted yet. We also will have our next webinar will be with Raja Banerjee. It will be in May. We haven't quite yet pinned down the date, but please keep an eye open for Raja's webinar. Raja is a fourth-generation tea planter in Darjeeling, India. You probably all know about the Darjeeling teas. I know I consume them all the time. I drink their tea, and they're really wonderful organic teas. He's a pioneer in biodynamic practices in his family farm. He's also a board member of Gaia Education and a social activist who works for the tea laborers to preserve cultural heritage. So that would be our next webinar. And follow us on our social media. We post constantly on Facebook, Twitter, Medium, and YouTube and other mediums. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Monica. There is Monica's email for those of you who like to copy it and get in touch with her for any other questions that you may have.
Yes, yes, I love that.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.